a sentimental drive toxic? Who knows?
Oh, this is very interesting. Speaking of sentimental drive, as we just were coming into the podcast, we are back again, everyone. Welcome back, both to the listeners and to both of my guests. Welcome back to the show. We are here with Public Safety Special broadcast coming to you from the Public Safety Media Bunker. I'm, of course, your host, Secret Doves, age 34, contracted with the War Devil, Vice Captain of the Public Safety Social Media Division 18. I would like both of my guests to go around and give your name, age, and devil contract before we dive in here to the discussion. Ro, take it away.
Hi, I'm returning. My name is Ro. I am age above 30, which is cool. Officially above 30. Above 30 by a little bit. Thank you.
Made it.
Made it.
That's right.
And I am still contracted with the delusion devil. I am still fully living in those delusions, as we will talk about later, because oh boy, was this chapter written for me.
Sign of the times. You know what I mean? It's the age of delusion. Let's keep going. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. All right, my name is Zuzu. I'm 18, and my devil contract, I'd like to say, I remember it was the Tomato Devil.
Yes, or...
But now I'm thinking maybe toxic couples is the strongest fear of them all.
Toxic relationship devil? Jesus. Wow. A terrifying devil. That's a big power jump from tomatoes to toxic couples. Holy. Well, on topic for
it's on par with the War Devil and Delusions Devil.
Okay, let's not go too crazy. It's a war. Well, maybe. Toxic relationships are pretty bad. Speaking of, we are here today to talk about chapter 200 of Chainsaw Man, title Toxic Couple. Let's just dive in, because there's a lot to talk about. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, where should we start?
Where to even start? Where do we even start?
I just want to say that I never lost hope. I knew this was coming. I knew the shoe was gonna drop in this way, and
you feel it.
I feel so powerful right now, even though it's not. Even though, obviously,
you're still locked in.
I'm still locked in, even though, obviously, this is not the ideal of how it should be. But, and I think we'll definitely
dark hour.
Well, this is very dark hour. But here's the thing: I never expected anything other than dark hour, so. I'm honestly taking...
It's Tatsuki Fujimoto.
Yeah, obviously. And I'm just, taking the crumbs wherever I can get it. Those little glimpses of happiness, but at what cost, And I think, again, the title, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh no, here we go. And it's so
good.
It's so good, but I'm also so mad at the same time. It's so good, but I'm so mad.
Good.
It's so good, but I'm so mad.
So good.
Why are you mad?
Oh, because...
I'm curious.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously,
up.
Me being... I'm a fan of, shoujo at my core. I am a shoujo fan, and everybody who, knows me when I started reading Chainsaw Man, they're like, this is definitely not your fare, what's going on? And I'm like, no, Fujimoto, gets it, though, right? And, obviously, I'm really...
If people think the Chainsaw Man doesn't vibe with shoujo, they don't really know shoujo ball. They don't really get it. You know what I mean?
Quite true. And
you don't really know.
And that's the thing.
You haven't walked through those paths.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Ideally, obviously, I would want them to be in this non-toxic relationship where they can actually, talk about their feelings in a way that is healthy. but
Of course,
Denji
yeah.
has not.
Yeah,
Denji
but-
has not been primed in his development to do that
He's all fucked
at
up.
all.
Well, okay.
At
Also, I just
yeah.
gotta give my boy Denji a little bit of coverage here, because everybody seems to be forgetting that his life is like completely fucked now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah, he's like
they're all like,
destroyed completely.
Denji, where's your empathy? I'm like, yeah, guys, he's got nothing left. Like, he is a destroyed human being. Like, society has
It's like
systematically
Asaden,
torn
right?
down his entire life, and then he got chopped into pieces and put in the
yeah.
basement of a government facility. That was like
how is one
2
supposed
days
to
ago.
react, right?
that was a couple days ago when
Exactly.
that happened.
And I think-
and then he got assaulted, and then he got turned into a monster, and then he got attacked, and then he got sent into another dimension, and then he had to eat people to get out. This guy's all fucked up in his, like, and you know, so if you look at him and you say,
some
this
parts
guy's
of it
fucked
are
up, I'm like, well,
the normal
yeah.
fucked up.
And that's why I think like so many
Like eating
people are pressed about this chapter is because they're like, whoa, wait a minute. Like,
Yeah,
really?
exactly.
Like, literally, it's the really question mark. And I'm like, yeah, actually, really, because with both of them, I think they're finally coming to the
Yes.
realization of like, you know what? Like, even if like the implications of what we are doing definitely can lead to even more. I've seen so many like amazing analyses online about like what the implications of like them just pushing away these, as Asa said, like the bad like thoughts and the unpleasant things in favor of like having those like fleeting moments of happiness. It's like, oh man, it is so good. And again, it makes me so sad that they can't just be happy, because obviously based on their pasts, I would want them to be happy together without any of this pain, but you know, this is Chainsaw
right.
Man, not Oran High School Host Club.
That's that's not.
If I'd like, I'd say it isn't really that they have even moments of like happiness. They're all taken away by Yoru.
No, exactly, yeah.
The little moments of like realization that something's fucked up. Like, if you think about it, Denji and Asa haven't really gotten to know one another, and like they're depending on like the comfort that they bring to each other just by being, I don't know, like the only people left they can rely on in some way, right?
Yeah, so
It's not even healthy. It's not at all. Like, it's obviously fucked up.
This is an interesting thing about Asa and Denji's dynamic, is they're victims of circumstance, and their relationship is like circumstantial. It is not a natural, like they didn't, you know, they didn't meet cute. It was like
meet ugly.
Go kill that guy.
Meet disaster.
Yeah, meet disaster. You know, this is something I've been thinking about.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm of course obsessed with your character and her role in the story. But one of the roles she plays, she's the fundamental mastermind of Asa and Denji's relationship, right? From the very beginning. She's the one who's like, go kill that guy.
Yes, she is.
She is.
And so is Death Devil.
Yes. The two of them sort of orchestrating.
And so is Yoshida.
Orchestrating.
Everyone's orchestrating them.
I just find
Right.
it
It's all like these external forces keep bringing them together, and then but they do have like a commisery in their stance, right? Because they are both the pawns of these larger forces of domination and control. Then when they get to interact, they can actually relate to each other and connect on each other but it's not necessarily. Ooh, it's not necessarily a.
You got to see me in my pajamas for like 2 seconds.
Oh, leaked! Oh my gosh! Whoa!
You could cut that if you want. But I was actually gonna say it's like kind of interesting, though, how, as you said, like really Yoru is the one that we've seen like most like fully pursuing like Denji. But
that's right.
But what like I've found pretty interesting though, as we've gotten further and further into the weeds of part 2, we are seeing less and less of Yoru and Asa like being, you know, like how sometimes we'll have like Yoru in the background of like Asa's thoughts when she was like talking to Denji. Now we don't see like the other one's reactions. Right. So, and this was especially true like back in the chapter with that you know, everybody brings up with the Evangelion copy chapter of, you know,
yes, the alleyway
of Yoru basically assaulting Denji. Like we don't see Asa's reaction to any of that, right?
We see it after the fact.
It's like she was pushed away.
Yeah, so, and now, like, I think the interesting thing about this chapter is, like, and you can kind of see in the art, too, like, when it switches back and forth between Asa and Yoru, like, how much of that is Asa, how much of that is Yoru. The lines are like even now further blurred, like in this chapter of like who is feeling what, you know? And like
I don't really get this. I've seen this sentiment a few times. I'm not really on the same page about
that's
it in terms
fine.
of like Asa and Yoru's
You mean
dynamic.
the merging?
Yes. I think
I think I changed my mind too about it not too long ago. I think I mean, there's more to be said about them being different entities than them being like merging. I think it's the fact that Yoru's destroying Asa's life in that way that she's like absolutely apathetic, and she's like she's doing self-destruction at the moment. Like she's listening to Denji, who doesn't even know what actually a person should be doing in their circumstances.
From the start, it's like they've always had like opposing goals, right? They've always been sort of oriented in the opposite direction, which is what makes which is what, you know, creates the tension in the dynamic. And then there was a time where they believed that they could be aligned, which was like Death's, you know, manipulation and deceit. And that conviction that Asa bought into of like, Yoru and I can work together even though our goals are opposed, of like killing Chainsaw Man versus saving Chainsaw Man. Actually, there's a way for us to get along. We can achieve our goals by working together. And in that time span, which we didn't see, they got more sort of merged as personalities, and the like dynamics of control between them changed. But that sort of like made Yoru more powerful, and now that Yoru has all of this, that she's, you know, almost at her full power strength war devil, and has the gun devil and tank at her command, you know, it's like, now that she's here, Asa's like, oh shit, wait a minute, no, oh fuck, you know, hold on. But, you know, it's too late now, right? Because Yoru's all powered up and the world is going to shit, and you know, what are you gonna fucking do? You know what I mean? Might as well just eat eat the convenience store, dude. Food, you know, fuck it, whatever. Fuck it, we ball, I guess.
I mean, Asa tries to kill herself to stop Hiro, but she can't. She's terrified of both the physical sensation and like she has a will to live now because of like Denji Chainsaw Man. And I think that's so interesting that despite it, she's like buried alive. She can't even like do anything about her situation, like unless she dies. Or maybe there is a third option.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm like with this whole kind of them, the line between the two of them now getting a little bit more blurred as we've like discussed. Like, and again, if we're going based off of like shoujo conventions, like, will there be like a crossroads moment where Asa can get out of this, and will it come at the cost of Denji? And that's what I'm kind of, and that's what I'm, I mean, I don't want to say that's what I'm hoping for, but like, there's a part of me that's like, I would be incredibly interested to see, because as it's been proven time and time again in this part of the manga, Denji has more often than not, despite Asa's like protesting and her like calling him an idiot, he has proved to have been very helpful to her in more ways than one, even if like, you know, it comes at the cost of like her mental, physical anguish. He is a part of those like sentimental drive moments where there are those glimmers of, I don't want to say like normalcy, but glimmers of something that makes her want to live in a way. So I don't know, that's where I'm at. And I think this chapter really like exemplifies that, where, you know, despite her basically begging him to like kill her and being like, whatever, like, I guess this is it then. And I think like there's also a part of Denji too that doesn't want to see her kind of like, I don't know, and again, this could be me like totally like grasping for straws, like doesn't want to see her go down that path, because so many of, again, this is probably me grasping for straws in my Delulu, but
I mean, no, I kind of do agree with you. It is grasping straws, and I'd still like to believe that, because even though at the end of the day it's like so many complexities, I think then she like actually listening to what Asa has to say, and like not just having the time to respond to her, or like not knowing how to deal with it because their issues are so similar. It's like there is something there that can be salvaged.
I would just say that
there is some hope.
You know, Denji is giving his perspective.
Sorry to cut you off.
Denji's giving his perspective. It's not great, you know what I mean? But we all understand why he has it. It isn't. Right? Like, it's not necessarily a healthy or productive coping mechanism overall. But, you know,
but the fact that he's even sharing it at all, you know, I think speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly.
Denji has lived through hell, and Asa's situation is hell, and it's a kind of hell that he's lived through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're stuck.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't go on living, but also you can't bring yourself to die, so you just have to push through the suffering. Denji's been there a lot of times.
I mean, I think that's kind of part of why they're so interesting to me, because their issues are so similar, but their ways of coping with it aren't. And like, I wouldn't say one is better than the other, like, coping style. It's not. It's like, it's both messed up, and I think I don't want to, there's no solution in my mind right now, but like, I think if it's possible to just actually try to like internalize their struggles and realize how much it's damaging them, then they'll be able to actually do something about it.
Well,
Yes, the world is fucked up and so many things like happen, but still one has to process them to get through it. Like you can't just ignore. Like ignorance is bliss,
yeah,
right? It's what Quan Chi says, but it's
right.
not completely true.
Well,
Like
yeah,
it's
that didn't
you're
help Quan
blocking
Chi.
reality, and that's what Asa is doing.
Yes, that is the mindset.
She's surrendering.
That Denji Denji has come back to once again, as he was holding on to it once before in part 1, before the end there.
Yeah.
But I find it
I just
interesting...
think it's
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, I think it's interesting how as soon as she says, in this chapter specifically, like, I'm going to try not to think about the bad things, like, it's as soon as that happens that Yoru takes over again, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think it's interesting too.
Yeah.
It's like Asa really surrendering to what, like, she doesn't think about anything and she's just dissociating so hard that Yoru takes over.
Give in to the devil in your heart. Oh my god. I fucking love this manga.
You could say so. I think Yoru's more like a parasite than anything in Asa's life. She's literally leeching up her relationships, literally leeching up her body, and like she's saying it in a way that's like, it's mine. It's like owed to me.
You're saying leeching. Interesting little detail. Asa is the one who eats the bun, but Yoru is the one who swallows it. You know what I mean? Oh yes, let's go.
Oh yeah. So what you're trying to say is like you're getting all the benefit from Asa's hard work.
Yes, Asa chews and Yoru swallows. Let's go.
Yeah.
Absolute devious work.
I kind of like this analogy in a way. Asa did like wish to be more selfish, but it came at a cost of everything she's ever wanted being in the hands of someone, like just taking over her life.
Wow, that's actually
just so bad for her.
Yeah, all the stuff that she wished for, friends, a boyfriend, being taken by the power that she compromised to have. You know what I mean?
It's like part 2 is like a Madoka, you know? It's definitely that it definitely does feel like a subversion of
it kind of,
as I said earlier, of all those shoujo tropes where you get the boy, you get the sentimental drive, you get like the life-changing adventure, but we're at that point where she is like,
what happens
at what cost? And even in this chapter, like, she goes to say that, like, you know, I always thought of the worst things about everyone, about everything, and maybe I should just be more head empty like you, Denji. And he's like, I said that? It's like, bro, what? Bro, what?
Yeah, and this is the
he literally forgot.
First. This is the that's so sick. This is the first moment we see sort of that kind of candid self-reflection from Asa, right? Her saying,
in a while at least.
Well, but this is the very first time where we see her looking back on the way she acted at the beginning, right? The way her perspective from back before she met
talking
Yoru.
About like how she has changed, like really everything that every bit of self-reflection that she's done has been mostly about like, this is bad thing happened to me, so therefore I am blank, right? And now we are seeing her kind of reflect on her experiences and as prompted by Denji, you know, like her kind of observing him and all of his nonsense and how he's managed to kind of, I think in her eyes, she might see him as being unscathed by all of this, because really Denji has never told, like, as you said earlier too, Denji has never told her about any of the misfortune that he has been through. He has only base level alluded to it. So to Asa, she might see him and think that he has come out of this unscathed. And, you know, because he
maybe.
And yes, as you said, that's a huge maybe, right? Like thinking about like, maybe I should just be more like you and like not worry about things and just enjoy the good things, because to her, you know, he doesn't seem that fucked up, even though we all know he is clearly so very fucked up. Like in all of those monologues about him being like upset about his horny nature, like was she there? Like I'm struggling. No, seriously, I'm like struggling to remember. Like was she present?
She was there. Asa was the one there.
Yoru was there.
And
Asa
let's not
wasn't.
forget. No. Asa was the one who watched him break down in the ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
She just doesn't know where it's coming from, so it's hard to connect the dots. But also, I think it's not that she thinks it's a good thing. Like maybe she does think it, like Denji is a good model for like, I don't know, not thinking about the pleasant things. Like
not a good model, but the only model.
Well, okay, I
don't know if it's more like I don't know if she's giving up. She's like saying like, you're right, Denji, but she's like, she never said that before, like in a argument or fight, right? She wouldn't just give up like that.
Well,
when you think about it. So
like, I think the thing is she's actually seeing that he is all fucked up, right? Because she's, you know, ostensibly, Yoru and Asa experienced the same things. So she saw him be all fucking, you know, breaking down in the chair and crying in the fucking forest and everything.
Dude, I really cannot like reread that page. It hurts so much. He said like, you're my only, like, you are both my only friends.
Yeah,
like,
the only people who like me anymore. Brutal.
Sad.
Dude.
So like she knows he's all fucked up, but her point is that back at the beginning, you know, she was only thinking about how she herself is suffering and has suffered, and now here she has gone through, and you know, I'm gonna say something, but like from her perspective,
I understand what you mean.
From her perspective, the suffering that Denji has endured over the last stretch of the story is like her fault, right? Because she took the deal to be alive that allowed Yoru to get to this point. She went along with Fami's plan that brought Denji to this point. She was working with the church that came and ruined Denji's life, right? Like, we all understand the circumstances and we have like forgiveness and understanding for her, but for her, from her own perspective, as a person who has like this deep sense of self-loathing and responsibility, like she fucked up his life, basically. Right?
She feels really guilty.
Yes, extremely guilty. And here she sees Denji just being like, you know, let's get some fucking convenience store food. And is having this moment of like, oh, you know, other people suffer. Here's a person I know they're suffering. And I, from my own point of view, have had a hand in this suffering. And yet here he is just trying to move on and forget about it. Look at that, you know,
well, that's what comes with the whole example thing, right? Like she sees that, you know, the way she has been going about it, there's no way she can survive, I think, is what she's finally starting to realize. Like survival is not found in this like attitude of, as you said earlier, selfishness, you know? Like, and that's the thing about Denji. He is probably the least selfish character, I think, one of the least selfish characters in Chainsaw
Oh
Man.
yeah, absolutely.
To a point. He's not the least selfish character, but I think he is like on the side of like doing more for others than he has really done for himself. And he's got that dog in him. So that's where it comes from.
That's for sure.
So, back from his original deal with Pochita, right? I'll save you, so you save me, right? That's from chapter 1.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Denji. All Pochita wanted was for him to live out his happiness, but Denji is happiest when he is doing things for others and being with other people.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, especially when he's eating, when he gets the opportunity to eat and touch a boob.
Is his struggle in this part exactly? Does he want to, did he want to live his normal life, or did he want to, live his normal life for Nayuta, or did he want to be Chainsaw Man for himself? And the choice was made for him, but so it goes to Chainsaw Man. You know what I mean?
I think Denji's story is also about like coping with grief. Like he may have to choose between Chainsaw Man and his family life, like with Naruto, but at the end of the day, he just constantly like ignores, or at least tries not to think about what happened like with Aki and Power, and like I think this grief that follows him and Asa is essential, and in somehow like finding a new way to live and not just survive. Surviving is not enough.
Right now they're surviving, but
barely.
Well, and we'll see if they make it out at the end of the chapter.
They have to make it to the next.
Because they still don't know that Fami's actually the Death Devil, do they, or no? I'm like,
nope.
No.
Yeah, they don't know, and this is where the 9 a.m. recording time is really getting to me. I'm like forgetting everything, but it's fine. So like, and again, when that shoe drops, that's yet another betrayal added to the list of Denji and Asa's like, God damn it, moments of like, oh wow, if I had a nickel for every really time Fujimoto did this, I'd have 2 nickels.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of irrelevant to Denji in a way, but it's not to Asa. That's an Asa thing. That's an Asa plot point.
Yes. I mean, I'm kind of like sad we didn't get more like relationship between Death and Asa, but like, okay, I'm not gonna be like how do I say it, mean about it, but the jailbreaking arc wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't too good, like in my opinion, right?
Yeah,
I wish we had like more time or like more concentration on Asa's relationships with other characters.
Sure.
All we had like at the beginning was Yuko and Yoru.
Yeah.
And then Fami came, but like, what is their dynamic? It felt like almost like Asa was her henchman, or like she was part of her group, but it never.
I think that was intentional, though. Like.
Right.
Yeah, obviously, but like,
we don't.
At the end of the day, I'm kind of curious to see like what else there might be.
Yeah, it's one of those. He sort of well, I was talking about it last time. It makes sense now that he was going to do this big twist, this reveal as to why he sort of kept Death off the page so much, right? Why this character was just sort of like, ooh, a little bit here, a little bit there.
But
it did
mysterious.
Right. It's sort of a a cheap way to keep people from putting the pieces together, right? Just don't write about her. You know what I mean? Just if you don't have if you just keep the hints like super limited, then it's gonna be difficult for people to see it coming, which leads to a really great twist. But at the same time, like you said, there are these relationships that end up feeling sort of like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, now we're coming into this big thing with Asa and Death, and we don't really have a sense of the dynamic that's developed there. Is it gonna matter to Asa? Does it not matter at all? We don't understand the depth of connection there, right?
I'm hoping
so
is like,
it comes at a cost.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that in the next couple chapters we'll get some more like fleshed out, back end on that. And I think Fujimoto might be good for that, but I'm also thinking about like, okay, what will it be like on reread? Because as we all know, like reading Chainsaw Man week to week is so painful.
Yes,
and
it is a very
how will it be different reading part 2, rereading it in one sitting versus having that like week to week like weight of everything? Because Fujimoto does pack like so much into what we perceive now as a very, very long time, but in the grand scheme of the manga really is only like maybe 3 or 4 chapters away from each other, but to us that can feel like 6 months,
Yeah, so. I mean it's a very different feeling when Asa is gone for like a volume and a half, when it takes you 30 minutes to get through a volume versus when it takes us like 3 months to get through.
Oh yeah, it's
that number of chapters.
The wait is horrible.
Well, the wait is excruciating. It leads to some really exciting moments in the serial, like big reveals and huge twists that come in hot on the weekly experience. But with the stuff like waiting for, because like you said, Ro, and Fujimoto's the kind of author, like, we were all like, oh, we want to see more Nayuta and Denji relationship. Oh, we want to know what their dynamic is. What's the deal with her and Mahima's memories and all that stuff? And then he hits you with a flashback that's like half a chapter, and you're like, oh, he did it all. Like, literally everything we wanted to know, he hits you with it in 6 pages. And
literally,
you're like,
gotta trust the sauce, gotta trust the recipe, trust the process.
It's really difficult. It's really difficult to trust. It's like, I mean, he's talking with us on purpose. It's got him troll, but like he does deliver at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's.
That's why it's really hard to hate him.
He can turn on a dime, and he doesn't need like a lot of time. Like, he doesn't need a lot of pages to get a lot done. Like in this chapter with Asa and Denji's conversation is like, what is this? 5 pages total, right? 5 pages, and we've talked about it for 40 minutes. We haven't even talked about big time plot developments in the majority of this chapter. Because oh my god, Asa, Denji, and Yoru take the most cursed dual bike ride of all time, fucking riding through the city, blasting chainsaw zombies, the severed head in the bicycle basket. It's just
and them laughing, just cinema. But it's Yoru.
That's right. It's Yoru.
I don't care. I still love it.
Poor acid. This is so
another point. Okay, another point I wanted to make here, talking about this, because I feel like this is our brief moment of Asa and Denji here before we're back to the horrors.
Man, I really do wish we had like more of them speaking to each other. It's like
we're dying out here.
It annoys me so much that like.
That's right.
No, I mean I am dying, but like I'm still like I kind of like this dynamic that they don't really understand each other, and that's where all this confusion comes from. Like Denji like he has a difficult time understanding that Asa and Yoru cannot be befriended because they have opposite goals. Like, one is trying to fucking kill him and like abuse him and use him, and one is just trying to find comfort and like not kill him, like do something that stops her life from being a complete misery.
It's miscommunication to like the nth degree, which again feels like a very painful but lovely subversion in a way.
That's shoujo manga right there. That's some real shoujo manga shit right there. Yes. This cursed bike ride, just so we hit all the points of this chapter, ends with the appearance of one fake chainsaw man. The mysterious,
he's so goated
figure. Yeah,
I love him. It's hilarious.
He blocked the War Devil's shot, which Pochita could not do. Pochita could not block.
Okay, I think
the War Devil shots.
I think the reason for that might have been because Pochita did it on purpose. You know. When you think about it, it might have been on purpose.
I mean, to me, I feel like he just was able to dodge it. Not necessarily like... I definitely think she intended to shoot him, but I think because the way I'm looking at the panel right now, and the way it looks to me,
it's a little unclear.
It looks like, it's a little unclear. It looks like he's using his tongue cape thing to kind of like redirect the shot in a way.
Yeah.
So either whoever Fakesaw Man has clearly fought the War Devil before, or maybe has had experience fighting very powerful devils in that way, so they know
he knows Ball. Fami's
or maybe it's Fami's control,
that could be it too. The possibilities
real Famine sized him up and was like, you've got combat training, you know what I mean, Ball, you can fight.
About it I'm like, what Fami's powers. I know that's probably what you talked about last episode, like discussing all about it, but I'm curious to say, like, I think Fami's powers, their weakness is that it, like, the characters themselves that she controls still have like thoughts of their own, but they must obey whatever she's saying.
Right, the guillotine devil, right, was off the rails, useless. You're useless, It's not like it's not the control devil's power, where they are her, puppets, her dogs, They are.
I feel like that's just a horseman power in general.
They're pawns, but they're not completely dominated, right? Like this figure, whoever they are, still has their own motives, their own thoughts, their own opinions. They're not just like, I do as
but
you
they
command.
Must obey. They must finish the job, right?
Yeah, the command was to throw humanity into terror. I'm interested how this fake chainsaw man thinks that this confrontation will cause humanity to descend into terror. That is one of the things I am wondering.
I'm wondering, should Chainsaw Man be riding a bike with a girl? Should Chainsaw Man be doing all... Should the solitary warrior from hell be flirting with a girl?
Dude, it's like maximum number 2.
And the fact that he just comes at it with "that ain't my backstory, bub," I literally the
so
moments
funny.
where Fujimoto is really self-referential in that way, it never feels cheap. I'm always like, we are so
exactly.
back.
Exactly.
He earns it.
It's
he earned it in this chapter.
It's something about Chainsaw Man just being self-aware, but not in a way that's annoying. Like, it knows its flaws, and it's like, also knows its audience so well. Something about also the theme of parasocial relationships that's been in part one and in part two, like very, very strongly. This also very interesting. I also just want to mention like the intro of how like Fake Chainsaw drags his chainsaws across the floor is so badass. Like it's so cool. Oh my god.
That's gonna be a sick fight. Oh, we've been waiting on this one.
Yeah.
This is a long time coming. This is a long time coming.
It's and like Denji transformed and like he hit him so easily, but like yours attack couldn't work. I think it really is like what Rose said, like because of the cape.
Right, the cape has some kind of special cape. Is stronger. Is some kind of special thing. It's a strong cape though. You know, I mean, whatever's going on with it. This is Fakesaw's killer move with the cape. But Denji's got those. Denji's got that high battle IQ. You know, he sees the cape's a problem, he goes for the arm. You know, and he's like, "Fuck it, you know, I know what's up." Ooh.
Yeah, like even in the panel, he goes for the arm that's not obscured by the cape. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
The
he's smart.
All the battle boys are getting excited. This is okay. I have a question. This is something we talked about before, but who the fuck is this?
Good question. Like I feel like we might know who it is. Like maybe it's Haruka, you know. I've seen on the Japanese side Twitter like that they're saying he's stalking like Haruka and the eye patch guy. It's so funny. Like, what if it's just Nobana Haruka and the eye patch guy in the trench coat?
Well, that would actually be interesting if it's like if it's a Frankenstein of like a bunch of like different.
There's different
weapons. Yeah, like that might be pretty diabolical if it was like some sort of like amalgamation of all of them being very it feels very My Hero Academia of like we're gonna put all of these.
So
does it?
Well, no, just like the fact of like people, because like in My Hero there's that one villain, and pardon me if my Hero is wrong, who like takes different people with quirks and basically Frankensteins them together to make the Nobus, the new monsters. And like based on like what you're saying, like that kind of feels similar, where maybe Death took all of these weapons and is like, whatever, I'm gonna
but I'm not talking about the weapons. Death. I'm talking about the students.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the weapons.
Yes.
Oh,
no.
That's even more delicious.
Mentioned the weapons,
that's even more delicious.
Yeah.
But I will say though, okay, I don't want to be that guy, but story detail wise,
tell us.
The students are in prison again. Yoshida presented Yoshida presented they're in a holding cell again.
Right.
They are not.
So then back to my theory about how it's the Frankenstein weapons. Like, honestly,
possible, but but I feel like Byron wouldn't give up on his like crazy fucking Makima dream world.
Yeah.
But what if Death promised the Makima dream world, like if you do like, and that's the thing, like you don't know like what these like horsemen are willing to say and do in order to get what they want. I mean, obviously, like we saw that with Makima, like we know the extents that she went to get what she wants.
But we don't know.
Yeah, we don't. It's a very big unknown.
Okay, but I'll say I think that what's like an important point in this is also that it's whoever it is, it has a contract with the Justice Devil, and it lives in his head like a venom.
Yes, this is a Justice Devil power. As we know, all of the Chainsaw Man transformations are quote-unquote justice actually fired. This character is unaware of the Justice Devil's true identity. Everybody's got fake identities in this fucking story. Oh my god. Asa's secretly the War Devil. Denji, Chainsaw Man is secretly Denji. The Justice Devil is secretly the Fire Devil. The Famine Devil is secretly the Death Devil.
Again, this feels very shoujo manga to me, of like everyone just being like not who they say they are, but instead of it being cute and cheeky, it like fucks everyone up.
True.
I mean, yeah.
True.
I also think this is a great homage to like comics like Marvel or DC, but like turn up to 11 and also like
just going nuts.
the how do I say it, the media rampage of like identity. Like I think this is a really huge theme that's what's like, it's more interesting to me than like rather shoujo, I'm sorry, but it's like more interesting to me in the way that it explores how people like are perceived and like how they act on themselves, and like these points are so like what is Fujimoto really trying to say? Like obviously everyone has like a first, second, and third phase, but like double identity, like these contradictions and like lying, like it's interesting.
Fujimoto's
that's the thing, we saw
Fujimoto's still running his fake little sister account.
True. We even saw it too in part 1 with Makima, right? Like she was really the first of that,
exactly.
And because she was a powerful devil, it literally should. And I saw a lot of people like commenting on this, not to go back to the previous chapter, but being like, yeah, like honestly, we should have been new, because Makima literally lied about who she was for like the entire manga, and now it's like we should not be surprised. Well, we shouldn't be surprised that these more higher ranking devils are obscuring their identities and not necessarily who they say they are, you know?
Right. Yeah, because the devil's name is significant to understand its power, right?
It is significant, and if it's obscured, it's like giving a leverage, but also like I think it's a good thing that people were surprised by Makima's reveal, but like it's like point of the story, right? It makes it all the more interesting that she wasn't who she says she is. Like obviously everyone knew like there wasn't something right about her.
Yeah, she's suspicious.
But it's like when the needle drops, it's only then when you actually understand. I think the actual first double identity reveal has been Reze, which has inspired part 2 of Chainsaw Man. Like, how horror, like
the shoujoiest part of part 1 obviously inspired part 2. So
no, it's there's no way. It's like I think there's a lot of mix of genres. It's
true.
It's difficult to say it's shoujo since it's so inspired by one specific film. Like Dubs, do you remember the name of the film?
Jinro.
I cannot remember it.
Jinro. Yeah. All-time banger.
Fujimoto literally said that it's like...
Oh my gosh.
Took the story out of it. Like
Jinro,
you should really watch Bro. It's
romance,
so good.
Drama.
So good.
You literally just said romance in it, and I'm like, all I hear...
It is, but it's like...
Locking it. It's great. It's a classic.
It's, when Dove says it's romance, it's difficult romance.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of like you usually read. It's like I can definitely see where Reze is in that movie.
Yes,
it's fantastic. Like wow.
Yes.
I cannot like.
It's. I mean, you know, the whole story, the whole structure of Chainsaw Man is like this sequence of femme fatales who come into Denji's life to kill him. And, here we are again, you know? And that leads us to
I feel like each time it has a different deconstruction.
It has a different flavor. It has different ideas every single time. That's what makes him a good writer. Speaking of him being a good writer, we don't have a chapter coming up this week, but we will still attempt to reach into the future 2 weeks.
Okay.
And figure out what the hell is gonna happen in the next chapter. It is so
We know it's not a
impossible
flashback
with this goddamn manga, but
Oh yeah, it's not, it's not a flashback, but I'm really curious why, like, Fake Chainsaw Man asks Denji, "Are you aware of the mistake you made? Like, what mistake? Like, maybe the mistake of like ignorance is bliss, maybe, or maybe it could be your like agreeing, like not necessarily being like complicit in Yoru's behavior, but also not denying it, right?
Right, rolling with the war devil.
I feel like this isn't the first time Villain has like asked him like, "Do you realize what you've done?" And he's just been like, "What?"
Oh yeah, it's like the doll devil, I think.
Right.
Or Santa. Yes. Santa like said that death will follow him everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing it really badly, but it's like the gist of it, you know?
Yes.
I would be interested to see if like literally after the do you realize the mistake you've made, and then Fami just pops up, he's like, "Yo, help us," and she's like, "No," and I mean that's what I would want. I want the shoe to drop so bad. I want their reactions to seeing Fami in this adversary role, and like, how does Denji deal with that again? Like, you know.
Like I said,
I'd like
really
or Asa,
really
like,
care about
and that's the
Fami.
thing,
like Asa's the one who finding out that she's a death devil would be like, wait, what the fuck? No, you know?
Yeah, it would be just terrific.
Then she'd be like, I guess I gotta kill you. You know what I mean? He's that kind of guy. So I'm gonna murderize you.
He's so like attached to Asa at this point. Like, does like seeing her kind of go through that realization that, as you said, like, I don't know, like it's all very up in the air. Like how anybody's reaction to me is going to be a point of intrigue and interest. So.
I'm just gonna say, I don't think Denji's as attached as you think he may be. I think.
Remember, I am in contract with the Delulu Devil. Please let me have this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm gonna let you have this, but I'll say, I think for Denji to really care, I think there's gonna be a point. Like there has to be a point. Like there wasn't the falling arc, and there has to be one again. Like. Something to put them out of this apathy, like maybe I don't know. Yeah. But me personally, I'd like to see the fight be like stretched out, because it's like it's really fun. I really like seeing the dynamic between Denji and the fake Chainsaw Man.
Zuzu is calling
amazing.
Everybody's favorite after a break week, a battle chapter everybody loves. When Fujimoto does battle chapters, oh my god, I can't let this fucking fandom. I like it.
Maybe it's gonna be like some monologuing from
I think it's gonna be monologuing,
or maybe like
I think we're getting set up for a Fakesaw monologue here. You know what I mean? This character loves monologuing. They've already done it a couple times. They're leading into like a big, let me set you straight, Chainsaw Man. Let me tell you how Chainsaw Man is supposed to be. I think we're gonna see,
and then he dies,
like a ideological clash, and then some fighting, and then we're gonna see Famine Devil, the real Famine Devil, come in, do some stuff, and be like, I'm Fami, and then Asa's gonna be like, huh? And then, next chapter.
But okay. I think like the monologue is gonna be not just for show, because if you remember the other appearances of Fake Chainsaw Man, it could be the same person, but I think it isn't. Maybe the second Fake Chainsaw is going to show up.
I think it's one person. I think it's one person.
I mean, I hope it is. It would be so mind-fucking.
I really
am interested to see why he was helping Denji, and why he was like.
But okay,
what kind of mistake is he talking about?
This character clearly is very invested in like the ideals of Chainsaw Man, so it does
make
sense.
It's Beam, guys. It's just Beam. Like that would be like a whole
cinema.
That would be
cinema.
a gag and a half. Well, clearly because this is me like tin hatting right now, but. Fully don't think that this is what's going to happen. But if it does, Fujimoto, you owe me $10.
Sometimes you got to make the big calls, you know what I mean? This guy's stories don't make any fucking sense.
Throughout the entire thing with Fakesaw Man,
let's go.
Yeah, definitely like going with the whole, do you know like who you're supposed to be? Like, and this is a whole theme that Denji's like had to also grapple with the entire time. Like, who is not only who is Denji, but who is Chainsaw Man, and what do people expect Chainsaw Man to be, right? And I think this is really like leading, as you said, Zuzu, to like that like monologuing moment of like, this is like what you're expected to do, blah, blah, blah. And he even said, well, that's not my backstory. So is he going to embrace what? Because if you so desperately want to be Chainsaw Man, and these are like the constraints, right, that he has to like follow. And it feels very Marvel in DC with that, right? And as we know, like Fujimoto is a fan of, you know, like Western comics and things like that. So I think that I agree with you where I think the monologue is going to be kind of like a, all right, here's like the crossroads, like Chainsaw Man, what way will you go? And in my ideal, it will be, as I said earlier, at the cost of Asa and potentially like Yoru, and he'll have to like make that decision and make that choice. Maybe right then and there, maybe after a battle. In an ideal world too, Asa might have a little bit more agency with that as well, with her whole internal like struggle. But I don't know, like because she loves to interject and speak up when like, you know, when people are like trying it, and I think that would just make for such like an interesting like pre-thing before the battle, you know. But I definitely feel a monologue coming. I don't think it's gonna be action right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah, no, obviously. I think it's interesting that you describe it as a choice between, like, Denji's identities, because, again, what has been, like, in the Chainsaw Church arc, and it's still interesting that Denji's always posed with these questions, like, it has to be one or the other, but really, Denji's both, and why does it have to be separate? It's just people's ideas of who Denji is the problem. Denji doesn't have a problem with knowing who he is. Yes. It's people's problems with him that frustrate and confuse him.
Well,
I think it's just choosing to be himself and his own path is what I'd like to see happen, and I think that's what's the true like decision Denji has to make.
You have to fight for yourself. Something that comes back again and again.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, it sounds like we really have no idea what the fuck is going to happen. As per usual.
We're trying our best.
We're trying our best out here.
Remember, Fujimoto, if it's Beam, you owe me $10.
Yes, if
Beam, the world is ending, he owes me like $50.
If it's Beam, you heard it here first. Write that down. We probably won't find out who Beam. This is next chapter, but maybe we will. We'll have to see. No one knows, but we'll be back to talk about it when we find out here in 2 weeks when the next chapter comes through. Break week this week, a well-deserved break after an absolutely banger stretch of chapters. And I'm just more coming down the pipe. I'm so excited. It's been so good for a long time now.
Agreed.
We're so back.
I've been thinking
we are so back.
We're so back.
I think
insanely
something
back.
About the last chapter reminds me how like early part 2 was. Like, I'd like to think that at least. I feel like the more like Denji identity center and like more of Asa's perspective, it gives a lot of life to what like the story is really about. Like there's a lot of fucking around like in different things and different characters, but like where the heart lies in the story is like what I feel like matters.
Asa the better MC. Confirmed. Anyway, on that note, we will be back next time. Thank you to both of my guests for coming on the show. It was a wonderful discussion. Very, very interesting. Thank you to everyone who listens. Tell us how dumb we are in the comments. We will read your comment and then delete your comment. Be back here next time.
Tell me I'm delusional one more time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.